You've probably heard of Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. It's a pretty heavy book, right? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. We're not just going to give you a list. We're going to build a real, actionable system out of it. A solid framework for your life.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the big question, the one Peterson's rules are really trying to answer. Then, we'll group those 12 rules into 3 big pillars. First, how to build yourself up. Second, how to act right in the world. And third, how to find meaning when life gets tough. And stick around, because at the end, we've got a personal audit to help you put all this to work in your own life.
Okay, so this is the core of it all, really. How do we deal with the fact that life is, well, chaotic and often full of suffering? Peterson's whole point is that these rules aren't about pretending that stuff doesn't exist. No, they're a game plan for facing it, for walking right into the storm with purpose and with strength.
And here's the big idea you gotta get. These 12 rules aren't just a random to-do list. Not at all. They're actually an interconnected system. Think about it like building a house. You can't just throw up a roof, right? You need a solid foundation, then strong walls, and then a roof that can handle the weather. The 3 pillars we're about to dive into, they work exactly like that, but for your life.
All right, let's get into it. Pillar number 1 is all about self-correction. It's about building yourself from the ground up. And the idea here is super simple, but also super powerful. Before you even think about fixing the world, you got to get your own house in order. So these first rules are all about sharpening your mind, your body, and your own path forward.
So Peterson starts with this wild lobster analogy, but trust me, it makes a profound point. The part of your brain that keeps score of where you stand in the social hierarchy, it's ancient. We're talking over 350 million years old. So when he says to stand up straight, it's not just about looking confident for other people. It's a direct signal to yourself. It tells that ancient circuit in your brain, hey, I'm capable, I'm competent. And that actually helps manage your serotonin, cuts down anxiety, and gets you ready to face whatever's coming your way.
And that stability you get from just standing tall, it's the launch pad for this next rule. Look, the world is not a fair place. There's this thing called the Pareto distribution, which basically means in almost any field, a tiny number of people get the lion's share of the success. So if you're constantly comparing yourself to them, it's just a fast track to feeling bitter and hopeless. So what's the fix? Peterson says you have to change the game. Stop looking sideways. Look back. Aim high for sure, but the only person you should be competing with is who you were yesterday. That tiny, daily improvement, that, he says, is an absolutely unstoppable force.
And this really flips the script on what self-care means. This is straight from Rule 2. Taking care of yourself isn't some selfish indulgence. No, Peterson argues it's your moral obligation. You have to treat yourself like you're someone you're responsible for helping. Why? Because when you're strong, you can actually be a force for good in the world. You have a duty to not make things worse, and that starts with you.
Okay, so once you've started working on that personal foundation, it's time to look outward. And that brings us to Pillar 2, social integration. This is all about how you show up in the world. It's about integrity, taking responsibility, and figuring out your place in the whole social fabric.
This one's huge. Be incredibly careful who you share good news with. Think about it. Do your friends celebrate when you succeed? Or do they try to find a little crack in it, maybe pull you back down to their level to make themselves feel better? A real friend, a true friend, wants the best for you. They'll cheer for you when you're aiming high, and they'll also be the ones to have the guts to call you out when you're messing up. Choosing those people is a huge ethical responsibility.
Now this is a tough one. It's a direct shot at that feeling of resentment. You know, when life isn't going your way and it feels so easy to just blame the world, blame the system, blame being itself. Peterson's challenge here is absolutely radical. He says stop. Just stop and look at your own life. Have you really done everything in your power to set it straight? Because until you have, you don't really have the right to criticize the world. So clean your room, both the literal one and the metaphorical one.
And that idea of cleaning your own room first, of taking personal responsibility, leads right into the incredible power of integrity. This brings us to Rule 8. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. It sounds simple, but it's about refusing to say things that you know deep down are false. Alexander Solzhenitsyn saw this firsthand in the Soviet Union. He argued that if just one person stops participating in the lie, they can start to unravel an entire tyranny. You're not just telling the truth for others, you're protecting your own connection to reality. And that, in turn, helps protect the world.
Okay, so you've built yourself up. You're trying to act with integrity. But life is still going to hit you with tragedy. That's a guarantee. So now we get to the final and maybe most important pillar, coping and resilience. This is about how you find meaning when everything seems to be falling apart.
This might just be the deepest, most difficult rule of them all. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. And here's the kicker. Peterson says meaning isn't found in happiness. It's not about what's easy or comfortable. It's found in voluntarily taking on responsibility. And what's the biggest responsibility? To confront the capacity for real evil that exists in humanity and in yourself. It's about understanding that the people who did terrible things in history were human beings just like you. Recognizing that Nazi in you, as he puts it, isn't about guilt. It's about knowing what you're capable of so you can consciously choose not to be that. That choice, that confrontation with darkness, that is the path to real meaning.
So if we have to confront that kind of darkness, how do we build people who are actually strong enough to do it? Well, Peterson says we have to let them be strong. That's where Rule 11 comes in. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Skateboarding is just a metaphor, right? It's about letting kids take voluntary risks. That's how they learn competence. That's how they build courage. He argues that when a society tries to bubble wrap everything and pathologizes healthy masculine competition, it's basically saying it wants everyone to be weak. And weak people, they can't stand up to life's tragedies.
And what happens when tragedy isn't a concept, but it's right there, in your life, and it's completely overwhelming? This is where Rule 12 comes from, and it's deeply personal for Peterson. When things are at their absolute worst, you have to shrink your world. Stop thinking about next month or next year. You just focus on getting through the next hour, maybe even the next minute. And inside that tiny frame of time, you have to be on the lookout. Be alert for the small, unexpected moments of grace, like petting a cat you happen to see on the street. It's those tiny little points of light that can be just enough to get you through the darkness. Okay, so we've gone through the 3 pillars. That's a lot to take in, but how do we actually use this? How do we make it practical? Well, we can turn this whole framework into a personal tool. And it all starts by asking one simple question. What is your weakest link? And here it is, the whole system laid out as a hierarchy. Look at how it all connects. It starts with your body, your physiology, literally just standing up straight. That physical foundation gives you the stability to aim properly, to focus on improving yourself. Then, that personal aim gets tested out in the real world through social integrity, telling the truth and choosing the right people. And all of that together builds the resilience you need to find meaning when life throws its worst at you. See? Each level builds on the one before it. So, here is your homework. This is your call to action. I want you to take a second and actually do this. Look at these key rules, the ones that form the backbone of our 3 pillars, and give yourself an honest rating from 1 to 10. You know, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So where is your foundation weakest? Are you physically slouching through life? Are you surrounded by people who drag you down? You have to be brutally honest with yourself here. So, I'm going to leave you with this final crucial question. Which one of these rules is your weakest link? And don't just ponder it. I want you to identify it and then, and this is the most important part, decide on one, just one, small, precise thing you can do today to make it a little bit stronger. Because if there's one thing we've learned from this framework, it's that kind of tiny incremental improvement, well, that's a force that is truly unstoppable.